Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us a glorious and gorgeous Monday afternoon in downtown Charlottesville. And boy, oh boy, does it feel good to be back in the saddle. I have missed you guys. I've been gone for 17 days on vacation. And it's been a fabulous 17 days. Don't get me wrong. When you're at the beach with your family, making memories, it's awesome. You're picking up shells and searching for crabs and looking for fish and catching frogs and jumping in the ocean and flying kites and going fishing and trying seafood in restaurants and lobster and crab cakes and drinking cold beer and staying up late and gaining weight and just having a blast. And you're doing it with your loved ones, with your wife, with your kids, with your family. And you know, the older you get, and I think parents can appreciate this, the older you get and you start seeing life, or enjoying life, I guess I should say, enjoying life through the experiences of your children, especially young children. We have a 7-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. It's special. Our 2.5-year-old is at this point of his life, even our 7-year-old, where they are seeing and doing things for the first time ever, and that wow, and that oh my gosh, I didn't know this was a real thing. That is just something that is invigorating. It inspires me. It's something we chase, and it's something that is priceless. I mean, there's not a dollar amount that you can put on seeing things through the eyes of your kids and experiencing life through the eyes of your children. There's not a dollar amount you can put on that. But I will say this. When I went on vacation, a vacation that we have had scheduled for, goodness gracious, for most of a year, did I anticipate Jim Ryan resigning? Did I anticipate the Department of Justice and Donald Trump's administration, some would call leveraging, others would call bullying, some would call overreaching, some would call extorting the University of Virginia to push its president out of Cars Hill? No, I did not. When I planned a vacation, ladies and gentlemen, almost a year ago, did I anticipate a judge terminating a new zoning ordinance that has been the talk of town for years? No, I did not. When we went on vacation, did I anticipate the Orangedale Avenue or the Prospect neighborhood turning into the OK Corral, a gunfight on the 4th of July, unfortunately? No, I did not. And we have so much to talk about here now that we're back in the saddle on the 14th of July, a Monday. And goodness gracious, I am so excited for the next 50 minutes that we get to spend with you, the viewer and listener. And I encourage you, the viewer and listener, to help shape the discussion by asking questions, challenging us. You know, put your comments in any of the social media channels you're watching upon, and we will relay those comments live on air. I'm very excited to welcome a new partner to the show, Sir Speedy and Conan Owen. You will see Conan Owen on the show tomorrow. Sir Speedy is locally owned and operated. Conan Owen has a master's in business from the University of Virginia and the Darden School. He is as tapped in and connected in the small business and the locally owned business category as anyone I know. I pride myself in being super tapped in with business development in Central Virginia, and I can tell you Conan Owen is as tapped in as I am in business development locally. You'll meet him tomorrow, the owner of Sir Speedy here in Charlottesville, and I think he's going to be a fantastic addition to the I Love CVille show as a business insider. So thank you, Sir Speedy, for being a part of the show. Man, we have a lot we're going to cover on the show. Why don't we welcome the always distinguished, the frankly, usually and always clad button-down shirt with an undershirt, Judah Wickower, denim jeans, socks, and loafers in 100-degree heat while I'm wearing next to nothing, Judah Wickower studio camera on a 2-shot. I'll ask you again, now that you are on screen and people can tell whether you are lying or not, 17 days without yours truly. It is a love-hate relationship here. 15 years he's worked at the firm. Did you miss me?
There were times when I missed you. I mean, you're a steady part of my daily insanity.
Steady part of my daily insanity.
Yeah.
Is that a compliment or an insult right there, Judah Wigauer?
Does it have to be either?
It can be both. Is that what you're saying?
No, it doesn't have to be a compliment or a...
Steady part of my daily insanity. Logan Wells, Kalalo, Vanessa Parkhill, Bill McChesney, hello. Television and radio station watching the program yet again here. TV, radio, and print. Watch our show for content for your news cycles, please. Goodness gracious. Judah, I go on vacation. Jim Ryan resigns literally the last show we do of the week.
Yeah, resigned in the middle of it. Or at least we found out about it right during.
Then the collateral damage of Jim Ryan's resignation. Is it Donald Trump, the federal government overreach? Is it the University of Virginia dragging its feet on diversity, equity, and inclusion eradication? I mean, so much to cover. Did Trump's administration leverage, bully, overreach, extort UVA by basically saying you won't get this money unless Jim Ryan is out and DEI is eviscerated? Or is this truly the collateral damage and fallout of UVA ignoring the federal government, not doing anything with DEI like it was supposed to, like VCU has done, like universities and colleges all over America have done? Was the University of Virginia too big for its britches? Did it say we are so prominent and premier and prestigious and so full of pomp and circumstance that this Department of Justice edict, this Department of Justice order does not apply to us, and damn it, we'll do whatever we want? I mean, who is Ryan falling on the sword because UVA dragged its feet, or did Ryan fall on the sword because Donald Trump is overreaching? We'll talk about that today on the I Love CVille show. And who's next for the University of Virginia? What's going to be the next president for UVA? Is the next president of the University of Virginia going to be a president in the ilk or in the mindset or in the shape or in the model, the molding of the Board of Visitors currently, where Youngkin has all the appointments on the BOV? Or is it going to be in the shape, the model, the molding of what is clearly looking like a Democrat winning the governor's mansion in November? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think the Democrats are going to clean slate what's going to happen in November, I don't think you're reading the tea leaves correctly. I don't even think the lieutenant governor, was it John Reed, has a chance to win. And we're talking a lieutenant governor that's probably as progressive as any the Republicans have run in some time. And it's clearly a purple state. So much we're going to talk about on the show. We'll talk the new zoning ordinance. Goodness gracious, somewhere livable CVille, the housing activists in Charlottesville, they're still crying. They still have their panties in a bundle. They're still pounding the scotch and the Jack Daniels, drowning their sorrows right now. A new zoning ordinance that they have pushed through for years, that is now in not just the toilet, but in the toilet and completely flushed down the drain because Charlottesville City hired a third-party law firm that, goodness gracious, couldn't even follow deadlines.
Yep.
Didn't even have the professional integrity or the professional consistency, the professional mindset to meet filing deadlines in a lawsuit. We'll talk about that collateral damage on the show. And gosh, I have to talk about a 4th of July shooting that has ravaged and left our community feeling vulnerable. And yet another shooting over the weekend in the Turtle Creek area of Albemarle County. The gun violence is percolating. Some say gun violence, guys, resonates in the summer when the temperature starts hitting triple digits. That's when the craziness starts. Let's hope to God this gun violence is something of yesteryear and not something of next year and this year. So much to cover on the program. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, 61 consecutive years in business. Judah, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, John Vermillion and Andrew Vermillion. We love the Vermillions. John Vermillion and Andrew Vermillion, online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. These guys on East High Street are doing business the honest way, the communicative way, the integrity way. If you need any pool supplies, pool cleaning needs, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply and East High Street, they are keeping our pool, the Miller Pool, crystal clear blue. I went in it. after 17 days of being gone, and boy, oh boy, it was picture perfect. Judah Wickower, the headline that most intrigues you, my friend, and why?
I mean, I think the zoning ordinance getting put away for the time being affects all of us. So I think that's the one that I got to go with, and the circumstances surrounding it are absolutely nuts. Would hope that that Livable CVille and others who were pro new zoning ordinance would see this as a chance to take a hard look at what it's trying to do and rework it to hopefully have more effect, because it didn't seem very effective in doing what they wanted it under its previous format.
Judah Wickower, nicely done, my friend. I'll tell you what, and we'll get to the new zoning ordinance in a matter of moments. We'll let you know what happened, and we'll talk what's next. When you roll out a new zoning ordinance that's so radical, and what Charlottesville City Council did was the most radical zoning ordinance maybe in United States history. When you roll an ordinance out that's this radical, you're going to have the haters come out in force. And the haters in this particular circumstance were well-heeled, deep-pocketed city homeowners who decided to red tape and lawsuit up this zoning ordinance for as long as possible. And while red taping and lawsuiting up this zoning ordinance for as long as possible, they caught a huge break because of the incompetence of the Gentry Locke law firm, a third-party law firm that is representing the city, because there's been a revolving door of city attorneys in Charlottesville. Not since friend of the program, John Blair, has helmed the city attorney position has Charlottesville had a competent, reliable, consistent, present city attorney. Okay? Those are facts. And when city council can't keep a competent city attorney in place, this is the fallout. And this is the damage. So much we're going to cover on the show. We start the program with Jim Ryan. By now you know, Judah. By now the viewers and listeners know, Judah. You've had 17 days to reflect on this since our last show. It's been a fantastic vacation. For Judah and me, Judah went to Maine. Spent a handful of days in Maine for his birthday. We should all wish Judah a happy birthday, my friend. I said it to you on the phone over FaceTime. Now in person, happy belated birthday, Judah.
Thank you.
Was Maine all it was cracked up to be? Your former stomping grounds?
Oh yeah, Maine was great. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful place. The cities and towns just melt into each other. It's such a great place to go. I had friends from high school. Got to see some of them. Got to hang out at the pool. Got to go to Higgins Beach, and Maine's just a joy to revisit.
The viewers and listeners are dying to know this.
Are they?
If Judah Wickower is wearing an undershirt, a long sleeve undershirt, a button-down long-sleeve shirt, denim jeans, socks, and loafers in Charlottesville when it's damn near close to 100 degrees outside, does that mean Judah Wickower in the summer of Maine is wearing a Canadian Goose jacket, 3 pairs of pants and long johns while drinking hot cocoa at high noon? Is that what Judah Wickower is doing at Maine for his birthday?
Maine's not the northern territories of Canada.
I totally get that, but you wear a long sleeve shirt, an undershirt, denim jeans, socks, and loafers at 100 degrees in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
What do you wear when it's 30 degrees in Maine? 30 degrees more cool in Maine.
30 degrees more cool?
You're telling me in Maine it didn't get into the 60s or 50s at night?
Not really. It was pretty warm there.
So no jacket.
I had a lightweight jacket just in case, but I really didn't need it. Especially the last night that we were there. I mean, it was muggy. It was probably at least 65 or 70, if not warmer. I don't remember the exact temperature, but it was pretty warm when we were in Maine. I mean, I think there may have been a heat wave moving across the entire country over the last few weeks. It's certainly been hot here.
I was at for my vacation on a beach in Long Island for 17 days. My wife, our 2 boys, and my wife, thank God for her, was surrounded by 3 guys, me and our 2 boys, that pretty much wore basically no clothes. I think we lived in bathing suits and sandals, the 3 of us, and that's it. The entire vacation. All right, let's get to the news of the day or the last 17 days. I'm going to put you on the spot, and then I'll put the viewers and listeners on the spot. Neil Williamson, I'll get to your point. Philip Dow, hello. Welcome to the broadcast. Lynchburg, Richmond, Short Pump, Orange, Louisa, Greene, Crozet, Charlottesville City, Ivy, Northern Virginia. Thank you for watching the broadcast. Charlotte, North Carolina on the broadcast. Atlanta, Georgia on the broadcast. Panhandle of Florida on the broadcast. Straightforward to you. UVA alumni, UVA faculty, UVA Board of Visitors that listen to this show. Bert Ellis, Cooch, Ken Cuccinelli, Rob Hardy, Jim Ryan. Straight up question for you. I'll give my answer when you're done. Federal overreach. Lower third on screen. Federal overreach or UVA dragging its feet. What led to Jim Ryan's ouster? Trump and his hard-on for Charlottesville, Virginia, because we know Trump has a hard-on for Charlottesville, Virginia, or the University of Virginia, punch drunk with pop, circumstance, prominence, and prestige, saying this is not going to impact us, the DOJ's threats. What led to Jim Ryan's ouster?
I kind of think it was both. I mean, I think there was a fair amount of arrogance at UVA, thinking we can either ignore this or we can hide what we're doing, and nobody's going to call us out. I think there was potentially some overreach, but when the United States government says, "Look, stop doing this," and you don't do it, I don't know that it's necessarily overreach to say you can't just ignore us. But maybe the eye of Sauron was looking a little too intently at UVA. I don't know.
The Eye of Sauron?
Yeah, you remember the...
Is that Pokemon?
Close, but not
X-Men?
really close at all.
Superman? Who is the Eye of Sauron? Is that the guy from Big where Tom Hanks is turned into a little kid on the boardwalk of the movie Big?
The Eye of Zoltan?
Zoltan. Is that who you're talking about? Zoltan?
No.
Where Tom Hanks turns into a kid?
No.
Jumping around in a penthouse on a trampoline?
I suppose that does... No, that's not what
Who
I'm
is
talking
the
about.
Eye of Sauron? Zorro with a mask and a cape and a sword?
Eye of Zorro. No. Still not there.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's from Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
So Sauron was the bad guy. In the movie, there's this big tower with an eye at the top, and it spins around and is always looking, always watching.
So the Eye of Zorro, in your metaphor, is the Department of Justice constantly with a microscope and a magnifying glass on the University of Virginia.
Not necessarily on the University of Virginia, but they were certainly watching, and UVA didn't apparently hide their activities very well.
I know, God, UVA.
I
All they
mean-
did was change some names.
Yeah, let's shift some things
I
around.
know.
Give someone a different title and call it a day. I don't think they worked very hard at it, and they got called out. And eventually, it led to I mean, whether you want to say that, I don't know the exact details. I don't know if the Department of Justice was actively seeking the ouster of Jim Ryan.
I would say the Department of Justice was actively investigating the University of Virginia.
Yeah.
In particular, diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts at UVA.
Right.
And Jim Ryan, being the president, was in the Eye of Zorro, the Eye of Zoltan. And Jim Ryan unfortunately, did not get transitioned from an adult. No. Tom Hanks got transitioned from a kid into an adult and big. Jim Ryan did not get a transition from adult into kid. He got pink slipped. And right now he's on sabbatical, and he's about to be a professor at the law school, and he's no longer living in Cars Hill. He's no longer the president. He's at his house in Earlysville right now. Okay, here's my take.
Did he officially step down? Because I thought that was supposed to be in August.
15th of August. 15th of August. I'll throw this to you. Specific, straightforward to you. Mm-hmm. Are you ready for this? And it pains me to say this because I bleed in orange and blue. I have my UVA shirt, one of my 2 UVA rowbacks on. The University of Virginia, who I dearly adore. My dad went to UVA. My brother went to UVA. We were riding home from the beach from Long Island. My wife asked, where do you want to go to college? Our 7-year-old son said, UVA, of course. And then our 2.5-year-old went like this, who's, out of his car seat. But the University of Virginia was punch drunk with prestige, prominence, pomp, circumstance, U.S. News and World Report rankings, punch drunk with being one of the premier universities in the world, punch drunk with this new moniker it's pursuing, new Ivy League school, punch drunk with its own self. And that punch drunk mentality created a sense of immortality, invincibility, a sense of bulletproof vests, invincibility. And that punch drunk mentality led to Jim Ryan's ouster. The Department of Justice made it very clear, and let's cut through the acronyms, okay? We're going to cut through all the acronyms, and there's a lot of them here. DOJ, DEI, BOV, UVA. Cut through the acronyms. Donald Trump has a hard-on for Charlottesville. And why Donald Trump has a hard-on for Charlottesville, August 11th and August 12th, when he was made to look a fool with his comments after a Nazi rally and when James Fields drove a vehicle into the downtown mall and killed Heather Heyer. Now, were his words taken out of context? Should he have said what he said? That's a topic for another day. It's not a topic for today's show. A11, A12 made him look a fool. Joe Biden beat Donald Trump when Trump was pursuing a second term in office, in large part by campaigning on Charlottesville. Joe Biden used Charlottesville. He used Charlottesville like an umbrella, like a Samsonite, like a Magnum. He used Charlottesville, guys, like the plastic my grandma has over her sofa. He used Charlottesville. But he won, and he beat Trump because he knew how to play the game, and part of the game was the Charlottesville moniker and what happened in Charlottesville, A11, A12, and used that to beat Donald Trump. So he has a hard-on for Charlottesville. And when Trump takes over, he ran on a platform, and we all knew this was going to happen, on eradicating, eviscerating, terminating DEI at universities that rely on federal funding. Well, guess what? Every university in America is on the teat of the federal government. Yep. And the University of Virginia, of all the universities in the Commonwealth of Virginia, is more on the teat of the federal government than anyone in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
A lot more.
Hundreds of millions of dollars on the teat. And when the Department of Justice, no acronyms, Donald Trump says to the University of Virginia, you better do away with diversity, equity, inclusion, the University of Virginia from day one should have jumped. Should have leaped and said, this is what we've done. But what they did instead was some rebranding, some reshuffling, some reimagining, some repositioning.
Yeah.
And when they rebranded, reshuffled, reimagined, and repositioned, and the DOJ followed up again and again and again with notarized letter, with paper trail, with certified mail, and the University of Virginia still did nothing, the fall guy was the president. And now you got a university leader that was on the fast track of being an Ivy League president. Everyone who knows Jim Ryan knows he had his eyes set on one of the most prominent and prestigious presidential positions in all of higher education, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Ivy League, period. UVA was a platform or a springboard to then, and he was on the fast track. And I'll say this again, I have never seen a more significant fall from grace for one individual in my 25 years of being in Central Virginia than what we saw with Jim Ryan. At the peak of COVID, a man that is wearing a button-down shirt, sleeves rolled up, tie-it half mask, Obama-esque, perched on his desk, offering video commentary to the UVA ecosystem, saying this is how Thomas Jefferson's University is going to navigate COVID. He was approachable. He was relatable. He was calm. He was easygoing. He seemed like everybody's next-door neighbor best friend. And over the last 24 to 36 months, and frankly, it started with the murder of the football players, the three fallen football players, how that was handled.
And questioning why more wasn't done.
Exactly. And now it's culminated in Ryan on sabbatical and soon to be a professor at a law school, and frankly, maybe a president at another university, but more likely doing the Terry Sullivan thing, the president right before Jim Ryan, where she's just going to ride out her career at the University of Virginia, making somewhere between $200,000 and $450,000 a year, teaching a handful of classes, and riding the prestige of a fallen president to drive course enrollment. And now here's what's next as you rotate a lower third on screen. As we highlight, and viewers and listeners, we're going to get to your comments live on air. Get ready to get photos on screen. Next lower third, let's get Barbara Becker-Tilley's photo on screen if you have one for her. She says, UVA dragging its feet is what led to Jim Ryan getting fired. Entitlement at the university is real. They are using Ryan as the sacrificial lamb. And welcome back. Glad you guys had a great break. We missed you. Thank you, Barbara Becker-Tilley. You're getting a belated happy birthday, Judah Wickower, from Maria Marshall Barnes.
Thank you.
Georgia Gilmer will get to your comments in a matter of moments. Jason Noble's photo on screen. Jason Noble says this, UVA thought they were too high and mighty to follow the rules. Classic case of FAFO. Give them what that acronym means.
F around, find out.
Nicely done. The PG version over there for Judah Wickower. Kevin Yancey. Judah, if the reach was legal, your argument would have merit, but none of the stuff is grounded in law, just executive orders. Kevin Yancey pushing on you.
Say that again?
If the reach was legal, your argument would have merit, but none of the stuff is grounded in law, just executive orders. No response to Kevin Yancey.
I'd have to think about that for a minute.
Neil Williamson's given us one correction here. Jerry and Judah. Jim Ryan, the president of the University of Virginia, who issued his resignation last week, confirmed his last day was July 11th. UVA's executive vice president and chief operating officer, J.J. Wagner Davis, will work as acting president until an interim president is chosen. Thank you, Neil Williamson.
Yeah, I thought there was something that I'd missed there.
Jeremy Wilson and Vanessa Parkhill. We'll get to your comments in a matter of moments. This is what we should follow, viewers and listeners. Are you ready for this, viewers and listeners? Deep Throat, I'm coming up to you. I'm also going to come on the show here in a matter of moments to Ginny Who. This is what we need to follow. Will the Youngkin appointed Board of Visitors bust their humps to get a new president in place in 2025?
It's a good question. The University Senate's already voted no confidence against them.
And why are they doing that, Judah?
Because they don't have any confidence in them.
UVA's faculty, the UVA Senate, they are doing whatever they humanly can to diminish the integrity and to cut down the platform that is the BOV. Because their only hope is to win the battle of perception, the war of PR. And if they're able to diminish the Board of Visitors enough, then they hope they can drag this new hire out into Abigail Spanberger's term. Because the longer this goes before a new president is named, the longer Abigail Spanberger can have her influenced on who is the next president at the University of Virginia.
Yeah.
The shorter this hiring process goes, the more likely Youngkin's influence is on next president of the University of Virginia. And whether you believe me or not, and I think by now many of you do, I anticipate a significant run for Democrats in November. Trump has crushed Northern Virginia in a lot of ways. Morale, influence, business, economy. He splintered Nova and the government workers by cutting and slashing government spend. And I'm all for, ladies and gentlemen, tightening the budget. I'm all for reeling in government spend. But the collateral damage of reeling in government spend is the top voting bloc in the Commonwealth, Northern Virginia, being more galvanized than ever before come election time this November. And I anticipate a clean slate, a clean run, an effective run, a significant run for Democrats. Governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and some of these other positions across Virginia that are up for grabs. So I can assure you that Youngkin and this Republican BOV is going balls to the wall right now. The Cavalier Daily, I was reading while I was gone at the beach on vacation. They did an analysis, the Cavalier Daily, on the Board of Visitors and who's contributed to what party. And overwhelming capacity, BOVs contributed to Republican campaigns. Republican parties, Republican candidates. The only one where the Cavalier Daily's investigation could not find documented or campaign contributions, the only one was Surgeon O'Connell, who's the team doctor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's on the BOV, recently appointed by Glenn Youngkin. He's the only one of the Youngkin-appointed BOV where the Cavalier Daily could not find campaign fundraising donation dollars from a BOV member to a Republican. He didn't have Republican or Democrat. Surgeon O'Connell, Dr. O'Connell on the BOV, the team doctor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That article is fascinating. You can find it on the Cavalier Daily website. Comments coming in quickly. Let's go to Deep Throat, number one in the family. Deep Throat says this. 3 points from Deep Throat. He wants to talk NZO. We're going to get to NZO in a matter of moments. He's got 3 NZO comments that I'm going to save. Deep Throat does. I'm going to get to those, Deep Throat. And Ginny Who's photo on screen. He says, "Come on, Jerry." Ginny Who says, "Come on, Jerry. You've never read Lord of the Rings? That's weak sauce, Jerry. Come on, Jerry."
I'm absolutely not surprised that Jerry hasn't read Lord of the Rings.
Of course you
know
I haven't
less
read.
Surprised that he hasn't seen the movies, but they are 3 long movies.
They're so long. I couldn't make it through those. I don't do well with the fantasy content. You know I don't do well with the fantasy content.
Yeah.
I'm getting into the X-Men and the Pokemon content because of my oldest son. I don't do well with the fantasy content. I know who Zoltan is. Ginny Who also says this. UVA did this to themselves. Did they really think the administration was going to look the other way?
Yeah.
At least one university was going to be made an example of, and UVA let themselves be the choice. She's 100% right.
Yeah.
She's 100% right. 100% right.
No doubt.
And she bleeds orange and blue. Ginny Who does. 100% right. We'll get off this topic by closing with this. Stacey Baker Patty, welcome to the show. I'm going to get to your comments in a matter of moments. Stacey Baker Patty. Stacey Baker Patty. We watch and see what the BOV does in the next, August, September, October, November, December, 5 months? Let's see what happens. Remember, Glenn Youngkin fired Burt Ellis for malpractice, malfeasance. That's basically the governor didn't want him on the board anymore. Yeah. That's basically what that means. Mm-hmm. If Glenn Youngkin sets a precedent that he can fire Burt Ellis, who he appointed to the board because he doesn't like him anymore, Spanberger, who's got none of these appointments on the board, could do the same.
Yeah.
And she could just say, oh, I don't like what they're doing, what they're saying.
It's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
Bingo. John Blair's photo on screen. He says, first, I'm so happy to hear that you and Judah had great vacations. Judah went to Maine. I went to a beach on Long Island with my family. He went to Maine with his family. He says, second, happy birthday to Judah.
Thank you.
Judah's a great guy, he says.
Thank you.
He says, finally, in addition to all these stories that occurred during the past couple of weeks, I think it's also worth noting that Albemarle County was the victim of a ransomware attack where people's personal information was accessed. And any other point in time, that would be enormous news. Also, 2 UVA alums won matches at Wimbledon. Again, and any other summer, big news for the area, but it didn't even make a ripple with all the news going on. Emma Navarro is not only extremely talented at tennis, not only does Emma Navarro have the looks of a supermodel, not only is Emma Navarro the scion of a South Carolina billionaire, but Emma Navarro is a UVA tennis protege product that went, to the third round or the quarters of Wimbledon. I love watching Emma Navarro play. Love watching Emma Navarro play. And on the ransomware, did you guys know that Albemarle County, you still can't access the GIS for Albemarle County right now. The GIS is still down. And did you know that Albemarle County right now is offering credit check or identity theft consultation software at no charge to Albemarle County residents? Your personal information, we're talking your address.
112,000 residents of the county.
Say it again.
112,000 residents of the county may have had their names, addresses, and social security numbers exposed.
Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Albemarle County's total population is what?
Not much higher than 112,000.
In 2023, Albemarle County's population was 115,676. How many may have had their personal information exposed?
112,000.
And look at what Albemarle County is doing from a branding standpoint. They say, instead of saying every citizen in Albemarle County has had its personal information exposed, social security number, addresses, and names, they try to put a number on it. 112,000 out of a population in 2023 that was 115,000.
Yeah. I'm sure it's grown a little bit since then. But,
insanity, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Shame on Albemarle County. In the last 2 weeks, look at incompetence from local government. Charlottesville City hired a high-dollar Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Bentley law firm, Gentry Locke. And Gentry Locke was used to represent the city of Charlottesville in a lawsuit because the city of Charlottesville has had a turnstile, a revolving turnstile with its city attorney, Judah. Mm-hmm. Make sure we get the right lower third here. Segue to new zoning ordinance. Gentry Locke dropped the ball in the most incompetent fashion possible, missing a filing deadline. I mean, Judah, this is the definition of incompetence. Yeah, that missed filing deadline let a judge whose wife is a housing activist, who lives in the city of Charlottesville.
Which is why I think we should give props to Judge Worrell.
I think we should 100% give props to Claude, to Judge Worrell. You explain why.
Like you were about to mention, his wife is a zoning advocate, probably heavily invested, or I don't mean monetarily invested, but invested in the outcome of the new zoning ordinance. And the fact that we've made a lot of comments about him recusing himself, as other judges have done in zoning ordinance lawsuits in Northern Virginia. He did not recuse himself. He stayed on the bench, and this is the outcome that there's not really any other choice he could have made, but he could have said, okay, we're going to give you a little extra time or whatever, but he did his job and he ruled in favor of the people bringing the suit against the city, and
no, I'm going to push back on that.
Okay.
He did not rule in favor of the plaintiffs.
Okay, that's fair. He ruled the zoning
a filing
ordinance
deadline was
void.
missed.
Yeah.
That's what he ruled. Neil Williamson's wants us to be very clear on this. I'm going to get to Neil's comments. Important note, he says, the case was not thrown out on its merits.
Right.
It was thrown out because of a missed filing deadline. But this is the point I'm making here. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Here's the point I'm making. City hires a law firm, an expensive one.
Yeah.
That law firm misses the toilet when it craps. Albemarle County has a web portal. Albemarle County has all our sensitive information, our social security numbers, our names, our birthdays, our home addresses. Albemarle County misses the toilet when it craps. Ransomware, cyber attack, outside parties with nefarious intentions attack Albemarle County, and the entire county of Albemarle has been exposed to their personal data. Let's just call it for conservative purposes, in a summer's time, in the period of summer, the season summer, Albemarle County has exposed all the personal data of its residents, and the city of Charlottesville cost city taxpayers how much money? Humiliates Charlottesville, the brand, and has done more harm than good for zoning than one could ever possibly imagine. If you had told the city when this started that this radical zoning ordinance was going to play out with a misfiling deadline, the city would have said, it's not worth it. How do we get to this point? How do we get to this point? This is how we got to this point, and I'm going to be very straightforward to you. Then I'm going to get to Deep Throat's comments. Conan Owens watching the program. He's on the show tomorrow, the owner of the local Sir Speedy. He's a UVA Darden graduate, MBA in business, and one of the most connected guys I know when it comes to business development in this community. Judy, you want to know how we got to this point?
Go ahead.
When Charlottesville, Virginia, or for some reason this city prides itself in trying to do the most out-of-the-box, the most progressive, the most radical, the most out-of-left field, just it tries to significantly ripple the water. There's some people who go about their lives where they'll barely ripple the water. There's some people who go about their lives that choose to cannonball in the water. And there's some people that go about their lives that suction all the water out of the pool. And the city, with a lot of its government policy and its decision-making, chooses to take all the water out of the pool. And this zoning ordinance was so radical from the beginning, so insanely radical from the beginning, this new zoning ordinance, that it got haters out of the gates from day one. If the city had chosen to go with a zoning ordinance that wasn't as radical from day one, just was a ripple of the pool, maybe a pencil dive or a can opener dive into the pool instead of a cannonball, then perhaps you wouldn't have had homeowners sue the city. But once homeowners started suing the city at a time where there was a turnstile for the city attorney's position, where city attorney after city attorney after city attorney is quitting Charlottesville, it left the city vulnerable. The city got real vulnerable with what happened with Arlington and zoning. City got real vulnerable with the judge who was presiding over the case, who chose not to recuse himself, despite his wife being a housing activist, despite him owning a house in the city. And then the city was particularly vulnerable when it had no city attorney and a third-party law firm that had no oversight and someone checks and balance, no checks and balances. You had a third-party law firm that was running, what was it, roughshod? And they missed a filing deadline.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is humiliating. It's expensive. It's cost taxpayers dollars.
Yeah.
It's set back development. It's impacted housing affordability to levels we have not seen. It's set back development nonprofit. Deep Throat's comments, number one in the family. I think you know what I'm going to say about the NZO. One, all these tiers, but the NZO has generated almost no housing. All these years, but the NZO has generated almost no housing, he says. Developers are building like gangbusters under the old zoning. 1,000 units are being constructed under the old zoning. 600 more units approved. If you leave aside the Kindlewood development, about 30 units are under construction under the new zoning ordinance. That's a complete joke. Number two, he says, WTF was up with Sam Sanders declaring, we have no zoning in effect now.
Yeah.
This was before there was a written order entered or even written. Sam Sanders, Deep Throat says, has no idea what the order would say. Decision would normally only be effective only when a written order is entered. Mm-hmm. Also, the repeal of old ordinance and passing of new one took place as one vote on one resolution. So a better guess would be that the resolution is voided and the old zoning goes back into effect.
Yeah.
Why did Sam Sanders say that?
I don't have a view into his mind. Maybe he was being, what's the word I'm looking for? Not bombastic, but maybe he was trying to make a point. But I think Deep Throat is right. Sam Sanders made a statement. It was not reflective of the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Why did Sam Sanders do that? Deep Throat's third point. Insane to have something like this end up in a default judgment. I mean, like shockingly incompetence. My firm litigates a lot, and before every filing deadline, we have outside counsel, one of our assistant general counselors, and the PM whose position it is all on, get on a phone call to review. Yes, blame Gentry Locke, but the client here isn't some Joe who got hit by a car, but a city with a legal department, allegedly, and a lawyer on counsel.
Good points.
I'll push back on the lawyer on counsel. Lloyd Snook's a defense attorney. But he is saying there's a lawyer on counsel.
Who should know how these things work.
And he also says, Deep Throat, and by the way, the smarty pants who said this lawsuit is going nowhere are now saying, big deal, city will repass the ordinance. And it's not that easy, he says. The city pulled a fast one on VDOT the last time. This time, VDOT is very aware of what's happening.
No doubt.
It's a bad look. It's a bad look for Gentry Locke.
Yeah.
It's a bad look for Charlottesville City. It's a terrible look for livable CVille. Livable CVille has lost significant credibility here. Significant credibility. Where's Georgia Gilmer's comment? I'll get to that once I find, man, comments are coming in quickly. I missed you guys. It's a bad look for developers. It's a great look for the plaintiffs.
Yeah.
Great look for the plaintiffs. Georgia, I can't find your comment. Put it in the feed again if you could, please. I would love to read your comment. So what's next? Here's George's comment. Judah Wickhauer, the only thing Livable CVille wants done is to get the NZO reinstated. From their newsletter, quote, while we are extremely frustrated by this turn of events, we are also undeterred in our belief that housing is a human right and that Charlottesville must continue to do everything that it can to address its affordable housing crisis. We are not yet sure what advocacy efforts will be necessary to get the new zoning code reinstated, but as it becomes clearer what the process will look like, we will keep you posted about opportunities to speak up. We look forward to working with community partners and the Housing Coalition to organize community efforts to once again say yes to the new zoning ordinance. Not only, Judah Wickhauer, is the Virginia Department of Transportation, VDOT, more prepared for what the city's going to do, but folks that are on the opposite side of the fence of livable Charlottesville, they are more prepared than ever for this.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, and as Georgia pointed out, it doesn't sound like Livable CVille is at all introspective about this and just wants the NZO back.
I've been waving this flag from day one. From day one, I've been waving this flag. The influence that Livable CVille is trying to yield on Charlottesville and now Albemarle County is an influence that will damn and negatively impact both jurisdictions. It will damn both jurisdictions. And the city of Charlottesville caught a break with this misfiling deadline. Now this organization is infiltrating Albemarle County. And they've done it by backing Sally Duncan. They've done it by cornering Mike Pruitt. Mm-hmm. They're doing it by pushing Fred Missel. They're doing it by influencing Ned Galloway. They are doing it by bullying, by social media, organizing, strategizing. I'll give it to them. They're doing the work. But their efforts will damn these communities. Next headline. Take that to the bank, viewers and listeners. Next headline. It was the OK Corral on Orangedale Avenue on the 4th of July.
Yeah, sadly.
And instead of Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp and his brothers and some cowboys with red sashes outside some saloons with some swinging doors with dust in the air, we had fireworks, we had children, and we had Americana. And two gangs. We need to call it how it is. The police chief initially used the word two groups, and then he corrected himself and said gangs. Two gangs chose the 4th of July in a picnic on Orangedale Avenue to have a gunfight. And these two gangs missed each other with every single bullet they sprayed. But who they did not miss was children, kids, and innocent bystanders. And if that's not enough, this past weekend in Turtle Creek, a condominium community in Albemarle County, there was multiple shooters at large and gunfights in Albemarle.
Yeah.
Any other time in Charlottesville City and Albemarle County, any other time, the gunfights would be the lead of the show. any other time in Albemarle County and City of Charlottesville when innocent bystanders are sprayed with bullets on the 4th of July at a picnic, that would be the lead of the show. It just so happens that Jim Ryan's resignation, the Board of Visitors appointing a new president, Donald Trump leveraging, bullying, extorting, influencing, whatever you want to call it, the University of Virginia, UVA's failure to listen to the Department of Justice, the NZO missing a filing deadline, Gentry Lock, the ransomware attack at Albemarle County, those all are dominating the news cycle. But an OK Corral style gunfight in the city of Charlottesville in the Prospect neighborhood when children are clipped by gunfire, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And I'm tired of livable CVille. I'm tired of activists in this community that are saying we need to defund the police. I'm tired of them saying stop with the flock cameras. I'm tired of them saying stop investing in police resources. I'm tired of them saying the police are overpaid. I'm tired of them saying they have too many employees on the payroll. I'm tired of them pointing out to police overreach when it comes to equipment and vehicles and militia-style tactics. On the 4th of July, there were innocent children clipped by gunfire. And this past weekend, in a neighborhood called Turtle Creek, residents were scared for their lives.
Yeah.
You want a community that's safe? Prioritize your police. You want a community that doesn't have gunfire on the 4th of July? Prioritize your police. I'll catch heat for that. I guarantee you. I stand by it. I'm comfortable on this hill. Last topic of the day. Ladies and gentlemen. The CACVB, the Charlottesville Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau, CACVB, all these acronyms. They are crowdsourcing a brand or image for the Charlottesville area. Their website is WeSeeYouCVille.org. WeSeeYouCVille.org. They want you to take a survey and tell your story of Charlottesville so they can weave it into the advertising campaign and the brand strategy for Charlottesville, Virginia. I am extremely nervous with this effort. Charlottesville Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau has partnered with the Charette Agency to originate the region's tourism master plan. This is an extremely important endeavor. And they're crowdsourcing our take on this. And you know what's bananas to me? Is it Charette? The Charette Agency, this is what's bananas to me, Judah, is not local.
Huh.
Explain that to me. Why partner with an agency that's not local?
Yeah.
Can you help me understand that?
I cannot.
You want to craft the brand that is Charlottesville and the brand that is Albemarle County? Do it with competent people that live in Charlottesville and Albemarle County. Is that absurd to say?
No.
Take a guy like, Andre Xavier. Just took a job, Andre Xavier, at Boar's Head. He's, I believe, the director of hotel services. You talk to a guy like that, a tourism and marketing expert.
Yeah.
You talk to the folks at the Clifton. You talk to the vineyards and breweries.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to the small business owners.
Yeah.
You talk to Mike and Cecilia at Rapture, or Bill and Kate at Hamilton's. out-of-market agency to create the brand messaging for Charlottesville and Albemarle County and crowdsource capacity. I want you to check the images that are on WeSeeYouCVille.org. SEEUCVille.org. And ask yourself, what's percolating here, is this going to be the brand and image for a national or global tourism campaign that's going to drive ROI? And I'll leave it at that, and I'll leave it up to you to decide. That's the Monday edition of the I Love CVille show. Conan Owen, the owner of Sir Speedy Charlottesville, an MBA from the University of Virginia, he has as connected in business development as anyone I know on the program tomorrow. If you need office space in this area, Charlottesville, Albemarle County, you reach out to us. We have Charlottesville's office space in Albemarle County in the city of Charlottesville ranging from $350 a month to well over $1,000 a month. Direct message me, text me, email me. Some of the office space, all utilities included, starting at $350 a month, some of it furnished, all the way up to a few $1,000s a month, ladies and gentlemen, even higher. No one's got more office space at his disposal or her disposal than what we have here at the Miller Organization. Contact me. Judah Wickauer was on point. When you see him, wish him a belated happy birthday. That's the Monday edition of the I Love CVille show. After 17 days working on our tan. Look at Judah's tan. Man is a bronze god over there. Look at that. Judah Wickauer, Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us so long.